and move into the great financial area. See, the Indians and the Muslims are in the middle, but they're pretty well to do. The big money, stock markets and all that is still the white folks. We was telling them, you have to move up into that arena. They got the people, they got the money, and they can do it. They just don't visualize themselves doing it. And I told them on the way, you probably hear some of that, you have to turn to the African and lift him up with you. In other words, you control all the stores and shops. You have to move up into the giant economy, and you have to teach the African, especially the ones that became Muslim, right? And you have to teach them how to do business. And I told them the whole history that we used to discuss, whether racism is worse, which part is worse, whether you were in your own country and taken over by racist South Africans or French or anybody else. You lived in your own country, you kept food and everything, but the outsider ran your business. And is it worse that you would be hopeless, or it's like us that was sent to America in a totally alien land and being totally absorbed into a system that is all against you, everything, psychology. If you're white, you're all right. Of course, I told them that. If you yellow, you're mellow. If you're brown, stick around. And if you're black, get back. What effect will that have on your mind? And so in South Africa, the Muslims, the African Muslims, had inferiority complexes. And they looked at the Indian Muslim for handouts. Now the Indian Muslim, I'm gonna tell you how they are. Like if you go to Soweto, it was a masjid, it was $1 million masjid, just like the other Muslims have. They built it for free in Soweto. If you go to Durban, you go to many cities, it's a masjid in the African community built by the Indians from way over there. Yet the African is mad at the Indian. Now, at this conference we're having, if you saw it, all the Africans are there, the Indians are there, and my job on the side is to educate the African on how to get along with the Indian and to educate the Indian on how to get along with the Africans. That's why Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui was saying, we've been looking at this all our life and we didn't know what we was looking at till this man explained it. Okay, now this is not bragging. That's one of the, if y'all remember in the leadership in the Islamic movement years ago, 20 years ago, we talked about the ability of a leader is he can walk on the battlefield and look at all the advantages and disadvantages just like that. Okay, that's the ability that God gave me. I have that ability. I'm not from South Africa. I'm not from Europe. They say the same thing if we have it in Europe. If we go to Canada, they say the same thing. The Bosnians say the same thing. How could this man come from there and tell us exactly what's right to do in Europe and knows how we function and everything else? Now to get to what we want to talk about, the same thing, because we're getting ready to go through a new transition. Today we want to talk a little bit, just a little bit about South Africa, but mostly about Iran. Mostly about Iran. Because today, this whole global situation is developing very fast, and it's all going in our way. They've just had a nice election in the Islamic Republic, right? But the white folks just went to Saudi Arabia and blamed everything on Iran. Everything was an Iranian problem, right? Okay, we that's been a part of the Islamic movement. Now, I think it's a little hard for people to take because of the color of the skin. But if Allah gives you gifts, that's the way it is. You have to use it, right? You can see Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui is the father of Islamic movement. He said he didn't see everybody. He knows everybody personally. But the Negro is the one with the most skill to put packages together. It's like I could imagine the Prophet having a hard time selling Bilal to the people. Right? That's why he said to follow the Amir, even if his head is like a raisin or a grape. Why you gotta say that? Right? Why do some people call him Master Bilal and others, he's a nice guy, but because he had the leadership could have went to Bilal. A lot of people don't talk about that. But Bilal was big. That's why the hadith says, the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, I heard footsteps in front of me in paradise, and I looked up, and who was it? It was Bilal. That's Sahih Muslim. Okay. If he said that and everybody heard it, why everybody act funny? Because many times, just like the hadith on Ali, you know, when people hear things, they may have a different program. And their program don't fit exactly. It could be a nationalist program, it could be some phony program. Okay, that's what's happening with Iran today. And that's what we want to reach at. We'll call this more like strategic depth. And the problem is first we'll deal with what we can see. We can see the foreign ministry, we can see the president, and we can see all of that. And we see what it is. Okay? The whole crew, Iran, South Africa, Canada, everybody evidently is on the same team. Because for the last 12 or 15 years, when I go to Iran, I used to be the main guy during Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui's time on the platform because I would pull it all together for everybody. That made me automatically, since the exposure and everybody could see, after a while, that after Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui passed away, they pulled me off the spotlight, just like Isna did. And they organized lectures off on the side. And all of a sudden the plane, I don't even know if y'all remember years ago when I was held up in Atlanta. I was held up in Atlanta to miss that Wednesday flight. Okay, if I go to South Africa on Wednesday, I'll get there Thursday, I'll be there ready for the Friday program, all the programs, and I'm on the bill. But if customs hold me up leaving, which they never did, so I'll leave on Thursday, I get there on Friday, and nobody knows, nobody's looking for me, nobody even cares, right? So when I get there, I wait the next day, I catch the next flight. That part of the program is over, where it's a big deal. This happened all the time after Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui's death. we came, a group of speakers, they would separate us, they would send our home folks to the big bill, and they would send me off to the countryside. It didn't make me any difference, technically. But I saw what was going on. It was nickel and dime, and it was nickel slick. Because they didn't like the advice. And the advice was always good, it was always correct. If you want to be on the money in South Africa, you're going to have to reach up, because remember, you're in Africa. The Negroes that you helped as leaders now, them boys going to turn on you. And you're in the middle. Right? That's what happened in the rest of Africa, except you guys are good guys, so it'll take a few more months or years, but you're going to look up, you're going to be in the middle. By the time I make the lecture, they're beginning to break into houses of Indians, kidnapping people for ransom is rapid. By 2 years after this, let's say by year 2000, 6 years after apartheid, in the heart of every Muslim and Indian is, we had it better under apartheid. It's not. What they were saying was true. They helped the Negroes, they the lawyers, but they didn't believe what I said. You got to move up and you got to bring them with you. Because they don't know how to do nothing. They don't know how to do nothing. For the South African themselves, the blacks, remember they brought people from all over Africa to work there, to keep their own Africans down. Why? Because the one that came from Malawi and everything was happy to get there and work at a South African salary, just like a Mexican and others are happy to come here and work at an American salary, which is 3 or 4 times bigger than they got back at home. So a guy could come here, the guy that came from Malawi or Zimbabwe or anywhere else in Africa was happy to work in South Africa. That's why you see the riots right now in South Africa. The blacks from there are saying, you foreigners, what foreigners? Not white foreigners, black foreigners. You got to get out. And one of the unity programs with the Africans, it's all just Africans, and I'm telling them how we can work together. Everything I tell them, they would find a reason that won't work. Finally, there was one Imam from Uganda, he probably still is. I looked at him and I said, how are these Indians compared with the Indians in Uganda? He said, these are wonderful. And so I was telling him, y'all complaining. Y'all are different. I said, what you mean we're different? People think African Americans are different, which there's one truth to it. People can't play the games on us that they play on other people. Okay? And we're not white struck. We'll jump on white folks and bust them upside the head. But when I did that in East Africa, it's a long story. It was wonderful though. So the African would have an inferiority complex. So when the Muslim, Indians mostly, would build a masjid, a beautiful masjid, like if y'all saw one that had a plaque with my name on it, abdul-alim, Musa, and Zafar, guys, in Mamelodia. Masjid, school, courtyard, big courtyard. The only thing in the courtyard was goats and stuff. And I know people don't have a place to stay, but maybe a little itikaf every now and then, but not residencies. right? So the Muslims that built the masjid would say, well, maybe you could start a school. That's what the desks are for reading and writing on. We're not children, They treat us like, I said, well, I said the masjid in Durban outside. I said, boy, that's a masjid. Beautiful masjid. I said, by the way, don't nobody in America, Indians, Arabs, and nobody come in our neighborhood and build no masjid just like they got in their neighborhood. $1 million in those days. I said, they don't do that. I said, so if you want to do Islam, you have to look at it. I'm trying to tell Africans, you have to do Islam, not just like we do, but Islam is a saving force for your community. Broken homes, apartheid. Remember, you have to ride the train all day to get to work. You have to ride the train half of the night to get back. And you're lucky to get it. You slept on the train mostly, right? Broken families. Islam reunites the family, right? Discipline, money management. You have to teach the African how to handle money, the value of money. You have to teach him that. Because they would help him open a little store. And the African is going to think all of this is income. Like if you didn't fill up the store with 5,000 rands of food, the African, he don't know no better. He think all the money that comes in is profit. He don't know that a pinch of it is profit and you got to buy those products again. So the Indians say, I helped him, he opened a store, and pretty soon, no stuff on the shelves, and all the money is gone. He's got bright yellow suits. I said, that's what it is. I didn't use that language. Niggas do what niggas do all over the world. That's why I'm telling you what I'm telling you. The niggas you help get freedom, they told you, and Mr. Mandela was serious, we're going to build 5 million homes for the people. Tear down all those shacks and shanty towns. They didn't do it. They built a few. Because the niggas going to steal all the money. They got to. They're Negroes. I'm not saying it's from inferiority, but they don't know any better. They don't know any better. You tell them, this is 50 million rand to build a whole neighborhood. You say, well, 10 million for me, 5 million for my cousin, and 5 million for the project. But the other 45 million, you ought to see them. Here they come. You talk about the sunroof top, lean, digging the scene with the gangster lean, a diamond in the back. They didn't have that. But that was the story. We were trying to tell them, this is what's going to happen. It ain't nothing you can do about it except move up, move on. In other words, you got to reach up. That's what we say. I don't know if you heard it all. You have to reach up and you have to stretch. And you have to make Islam the dynamic that Islam would spread from the south to the north. Okay. Well, why are we so upset about Iran? We're not upset about Iran. Iran have the best negotiators. The foreign ministry and all that is doing better than anybody in the world. I mean, as far as negotiating with the West, They good as the Russians were in the old days and North Koreans. They good. The parliament, the Majlis, is working better than any parliament in the region, including the West. They had the best election in the world. The best election. Over 70-some% of the people voted, right? And they chose the same president. Well, then what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that is that we're on a new level. And the parliament, I mean, the Muslims in Iran are having the exact same problem that Ikhwan al-Muslimin had after the Arab Spring. Well, they are evolving. They're doing better than anybody else, but they're evolving behind the curve. What I mean to say is this: Iran right now, and I'm not going to call no names today, but next week, if they don't watch this and get busy by next week, I'm calling the physical names of the people who I'm talking about. They're as high up in the government as you go, except the Rahbar. Why? Because Iran is at you're talking about the strategic location in history, and it's just like South Africa was. You have to reach up. The war in the world is focused on Iran. All Saudi money is focused on Iran. The dumb red-haired, yellow, whatever color man went over there to blame everything on Iran. Right? Okay. So, Allah blessed the Islamic Republic. Even the white folks, one white woman said, Saudi Arabia is good with breaking things and Iran is good at coming and picking up the pieces. Iran is more powerful than it's ever been. It is well run. It has a lot of characteristics that are good. It's the best country to live in the region. It has the less fitna of any place in the region. The only thing is, it's not strategically organized to handle this level that it's on right now. And what I'm saying to them is, they should invite me over and send me around, first put me on TV a lot with our programs, not no 2-minute questions. So I could explain to the people where they are, just like I was doing in South Africa, just like I did all over the world. The Iranians are not explaining to their people where they are. And the other big mistake, Iran has not figured out where we want to be in the next 5 years, where we want to be in the next 10 years. What do we want the Middle East to look at? Right? They don't have a strategic body that takes care of opportunities that pop up. They don't have the ability to do that. They are developing institutions, but they're evolving behind the curve. Okay? Now, our dear little managers that have in Iran, that have been shuffling me out to the north by myself for the last 10 or 15 years. Same thing they've been doing in South Africa. I'm saying this is a unified international thing that's going on. Okay. First of all, dear Iranians, You ain't put no more in the revolution than I have. Well, it ain't yours. The other thing is, I'm not going to sit back here and let you F up, F-U-C-K, up. Nothing. This revolution is too important. This is the change of the world going on right now. Therefore, you need institutions. And you're not qualified to develop them. Why are you not qualified? Because you're not doing it. And because you're cliques, foreign ministry, Rouhani, you guys got a clique. I know you got a clique because I know how you treat me. I just put up with it year after year after year. I've been knowing what's going on. I forecast this in 1970. 1990. Do you remember the lectures that I showed about a little while ago about diplomacy? That's 1990. I made that lecture before the foreign minister, before the ambassador to the UN in New York in 1990. And I told them about diplomacy. Told them it was a sewer. And I've given this lecture in many places. Here's what we mean to say. You got the parliament in Iran, the Majlis. It works better than the parliament here. But you guys got cliques. So-called hardliners and all that stuff, and modernists, technocrats. Then you got the foreign ministry. I've been watching you guys since day one. You careerist. How you used to invite me and use my name. Remember the big name? Who's the only person in the first 10 years of the revolution in America that had a name? Who's the only person that went around all the time, unified, organized, and kept the Iranians focused in America? Who was the one that would tell you, these are Negroes, they are the police? You're in America. For you, everybody's the police. That's where you're going. Amen. No, some of us, no, like that. No, sir, brother. You think you're going to get rid of the dictator? Then walk up and down the street with Imam Khomeini talking about death to America? And that's okay? I said, no, sorry. I said, so much so that y'all was asking me in programs by 1985, Imam Musa, what are we going to do? Why? Y'all remember? Because I knew you guys better than you knew yourself in an American context. In Iran, you know more about your culture, but you in America. And that's what the whole 10 years was about. From 1980 to Imam Khomeini passed away in 89. So we got a 10-year period. After that, y'all start easing into your cliques. By now, those cliques are strong. And the foreign ministry is the one that I know most about. Last time at the UN, when Rouhani was here, last year, I sat by the elevator and everybody that came down the elevator from the president's place, Imam Musa, haven't seen you. This is exactly. In 34 years, I said, yeah, man, it's 34 years, you was at the university, so-and-so, da-da-da-da. I said, yeah, man. I said, boy, that was a good time. It was a good time. It was a revolutionary period. In that period, the students here and all over the world and inside Iran, they fought a war with everybody against. That is a miracle. It ain't never happened like that in modern times. I ain't never read about it. To fight the whole world all by yourself. Except Syria, of course, but Syria, what, helping, they just wasn't hurt. So, one of the things is careerism. See, what I'm doing right now is not my career. This is my life. Everything I get, I put it in the movement. I don't have no career. This is not a career. So if you have career choices, oh, this won't advance my career, right? So this is not a career. This is my life, what I do. Now, let's get to the point. I would like to come there as soon as possible, spend maybe a month and get around, because we get ready to do stuff here. But in the meantime, here's what you don't have. You do not have a strategic agency that incorporates everybody on where we want to go. What I mean is, the foreign ministry, the military, everybody has to get together, and you're going to have to be halfway truthful. And you're going to have to debate the policy. Foreign ministry, you're going to have to tell the military, we want to be bootlickers. You tell them the truth. We believe even no matter what they do to us, you know, like the last treaty. Remember what I told the Rangers? I said, for you Rangers, y'all remember, I said, sign any treaty with them. As soon as you sign it, double cross them. Why? Because they're going to double cross you. Do y'all remember that? I told them they can't help it. I said, it's not a, they don't even have to sit down and plan to double cross you. They're going to do it because, do you think a pigeon have to sit down and plan to fly back to the coop? No, God put it in them. Americans,
it's their nature.
It's their nature. They can't help it. That's why you need us to tell you what he's going to do. Because we done told you everything he's going to do. Everything, I know it sounds arrogant for me to say this and for me to be black, but some of this stupidity from y'all part may be a little bit of racism here. Now, I'm not saying it's all racism, no. But I know it's hard for people to have I know at them big conferences, everybody, Allahu Akbar for Imam Musa, and all the big scholars, they got so many degrees hanging off of them. They've been studying for 50 years. I said, how long have you been studying? I've been studying for 30 years, and I've been teaching for from Ayatollah Booga Booga. And he gives a lecture, and everybody said, hold on. And I come up there, and everybody jumping up and down every conference. And the only one they remember is me. That's kind of hard for, suppose we only